Welcome back to Baby Takes. We are finally both in the same video. It's been a little bit, had some stuff to do, but we're going to start off quickly. We're going to do our sponsors. I'll start off with the HotStreak fantasy app. I've been loving it, especially in football season. I've been making some good money betting on, you can do live bets, you can do pregame bets, you can go over under passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards. It's really good. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. And make sure you use our code BABY at registration to let them know that we sent you, and that'll help us out a lot. So Zach, take it away with the bucked up real quick.
Yeah, still got baby1 as our code for bucked up, 20% off, free sample in the bio, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great product if you're into lifting. They have all sorts of like lifting gear, anything you want. It's not only a supplement brand, it's just a gym brand overall.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So the free sample link will be in the description, and it's in the bio of the Instagram, and then baby1 to get 20% off. So we're going to start out. We're going to go quickly over our pick'em this week. Whole lot of upsets, but me and Zach actually did pretty good. I think Zach actually pulled this week off for the first time. So shout out to him. But let's take a look. All right, so we got Georgia, Arkansas. We both picked Georgia. It ended up being Georgia easily. Michigan, Wisconsin. We both picked Michigan. Ended up being Michigan pretty handily. Cincinnati, we both picked, beat Notre Dame. This is where we split. Zach picked Oklahoma State. I picked Baylor. Oklahoma State pulls it off, so Zach gets his one up there. Ohio State, Rutgers, we both picked. It was not even close. One that we didn't pick was Oregon, Stanford. Stanford pulls off a crazy upset over Oregon. Really blows up that top 10, I think. Oklahoma, K-State. I picked K-State. Zach picked Oklahoma. K-State took it down to the wire, ended up losing by 6, I think, was the final, 37-31. And then Zach tried to go big upset with Ole Miss over Alabama, but I stuck with Alabama, and Alabama convincingly won that game. So I think Zach pulled this one off, but I could be counting wrong. It'll be the overall record will be in the post. I'll post it on our Twitter and our Instagram, but I'm going to stop this share real quick. And we're doing a new thing today. We're going to be doing college football pretenders or contenders. So basically, we're going to take the top 10 teams. We're going to alternate each one, and we're going to decide if they are legit contenders for the college football playoff at least, or they're pretenders. So basically, they're overrated is what we're saying. So let's just start it off. Zach, I'm going to let you have this first one. AP, this is the AP poll, by the way. So number 10 is BYU. Are they contenders or are they pretenders?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously they haven't done anything crazy, but at the same time, they haven't really shown that they aren't a contender. But we're talking like college football playoff contender, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think they're at that level. You can be a really good team, but you got to be a great team, an elite team,
Right.
almost perfect to be at that level. And I just don't think they are. Nothing against them. They're a really good team. They're just not up there with the Alabamas, the Georgias, whoever else you put in there.
Right. All right, so I'll do number 9. Number 9 is Michigan. I think this is a tough one because Michigan has shown that they can beat every team they've played against. But if you look at the teams they've played, I mean, it's nothing crazy. Like they beat Wisconsin last week, and Wisconsin has shown that they're less than people think this year because they started the year 1-3. And this look, so they beat Western Michigan, obviously. They beat Washington. Washington lost to Montana. They beat Northern Illinois. They beat Rutgers, and then they just beat Michigan. and they beat Rutgers by 7. So it was a close game. And Rutgers just got destroyed by Ohio State. So I don't know. This is tough because they're undefeated, but I'm going to put Michigan in the pretenders as well. I just don't think I think they'll lose a game coming up. They still have to play. I think they still have to play Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they still have to play Penn State, and they still have to play Iowa or Ohio State. So I think they're going to drop at least one of those games, which would take them out, in my opinion. So I think they're pretenders.
Do we throw
Yeah.
the rankings up on the screen?
Do you have the rankings pulled up?
Yeah.
Yeah, pull it up. There you go. All right, so you're up with Oregon.
Yeah. So Oregon's weird. Obviously, they lost to Stanford, but see right here, this I don't know why. Why is Ohio State over Oregon? Oregon beat Ohio State. I think those two should be flipped. I honestly think Oregon is better than Oklahoma. I think Oregon is better than Iowa. I think Oregon's a true contender if they can get a few pieces turned around. I think they're a great team. Because I definitely don't think, we'll get to that. Some of those top teams, but I think they're kind of a joke to be up there. But I don't think Oregon should be behind Ohio State. They beat Ohio State, so that's just a head-to-head. Can't be doing that.
Yeah, that's fair. Before I talk about Ohio State, I forgot to mention Bennett is not here because he's currently teething. So it's a rough time for him. He's growing teeth. So he's in a little bit of pain and he doesn't feel very good. So that's why Bennett's not here. Totally forgot to say something about that. But I got Ohio State. Ohio State's another tough one because they're winning and it looks like they're finally hitting their stride. But also, besides Oregon, who have they played, right? I think Rutgers isn't very good. And obviously they controlled Rutgers. They played Akron, Tulsa, lost to Oregon, obviously. And they had a sloppy game against Minnesota, who looks god-awful this year. Minnesota looks horrible. I think next week will be telling-ish against Maryland. I mean, we don't really know what Maryland is either. They looked great until they faced Iowa. So I don't know. Currently, I'm going to put Ohio State and the pretenders because I don't think they're making it out of the Big Ten. So I'm going to put them in pretenders at the moment.
Yeah, number 6. I don't even think this is the question. Oklahoma definitely pretender. I mean, the sad thing is they might go undefeated this year.
Right.
That's the sad thing.
That's why it's tough. Because if they go undefeated, I mean, they're probably in it, right? I mean, depending on because Iowa and Penn State aren't both going to be undefeated. They're going to play in the Big Ten championship.
They're going to play this week.
Yeah, they play this week. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. The Big 12 is just so weak. But yeah, keep going.
So I honestly don't think if they go undefeated, they'll be in because now you have a group of 5 team, not just Power 5 team in there with Cincinnati. Right. And Oregon can also. I think Oregon's better than them. I mean, if BYU goes all the way, why aren't they better?
Right.
Oklahoma skating by all these teams. I would say eventually someone's going to beat them, but I just feel like, they have a pretty good shot at going undefeated at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, definitely pretender. This is no. They're not legit.
Yeah. It's tough because I just can't wait to see them in the SEC. I just want to see what they can do. But number 5 is Cincinnati. This is my first contender. I think Cincinnati's legit. I think people are overlooking them because they're a group of 5 team. But Desmond Ridder is the real deal. And that defense is the real deal. You saw Notre Dame just put up 41 points on Wisconsin. And we don't know what Wisconsin is, but as much as you want to say that's a solid Big Ten defense, and Notre Dame put up 41 on them. And Cincinnati held them in check, only held them to, what was it? What was the final score?
20.
Yeah. No, less than that. 24-13 was the final score. Cincinnati took care of business. I think Cincinnati's really, really good, really underrated. And it's tough to be underrated when you're top 5 in the nation, but Cincinnati is my first contender. I can see him making some real noise come playoff time.
Yeah. Hang on.
The numbers didn't work out. You probably really want to talk about Iowa.
Yeah, but I can't. So it's okay. All right. So Penn State. Penn State's not a hard one for me because obviously whoever wins this game this week is going to be labeled as a contender. But
Right.
in my eyes, they could also both be pretenders. I mean, we got a team, they beat Wisconsin close week 1, which, I mean, maybe, Wisconsin is good, maybe they're not. But at the same time, they beat Auburn. And Auburn has Bo Nix, and Bo Nix is playing at elite level right now. And so for them to beat Auburn, I think that they are a true contender. I also think they're going to beat Iowa this weekend. And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty convincing because I just don't know who Iowa's played. Like,
Right.
Iowa hasn't played anyone.
So I had Penn State also as a contender, but surprising one, I had Iowa as pretender. Here's the deal. I'm sold on Iowa's defense. Like Iowa has a good defense. I'll give them that. They fly to the ball, they make plays, whatever. But
Here's the thing.
I'm not sold on the offense.
You have to have a quarterback that's going to take you to elite level game.
Right.
You have to have a quarterback that's going to win it late. Spencer Petras is not the guy who's going to take you deep into a playoff and win late games. He's just not going to do it. Spencer Petras is no Desmond Ridder. He's not even a Spencer Rattler. He's Bryce Young.
I would take Sean Clifford from Penn State over him.
Yeah, absolutely. He does not make the plays that an elite quarterback needs to make to be up there. And it happens every year. Iowa gets super hyped up. Never this high.
Never this high,
but they get super hyped up. And then they lose. It happens every year. They barely beat Colorado State. I mean, come on.
I definitely think
a contender, you cannot be almost losing to teams like Colorado State.
Yeah. I definitely think Iowa got lucky with the preseason rankings. So, because they beat Indiana, who was ranked 17th. Indiana's
absolutely
nothing.
Indiana's garbage.
They beat Iowa State, who was ranked number 9 at the time.
Who also
Iowa State has won one game since then. They beat KU.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Iowa only put up 30 points against Kent State. They beat Colorado State by 10. Yes, they destroyed Maryland, but they also forced 6 turnovers, which is right. Like, I'm giving props to their defense. Their defense is good, but I'm just not sold on the offense. So I have Iowa as a pretender as well. I don't think
Iowa State beat UNLV after they lost to Iowa. But they lost to Baylor. Baylor's not a legit team. I
don't even know if Baylor's ranked right now, honestly.
They're not. This is the thing. With Iowa's fault that Iowa State was ranked high and Indiana was ranked high. No. I think with what we've seen with the rankings and everything, yes, you should put them at number 3 with what they've done.
Right.
But they're not going to stay there. I think they should be ranked number 3, but I don't think they're the 3rd best team in the country.
Right. Yeah. So I'm saying pretender on that. What do you got for Georgia?
Oh, absolute contender. Absolute contender. the top two, I don't even think it's a question. I mean, we could see a national title game right there. We could see an SEC championship, then a playoff game, and then a national title game. They
don't
could play
know.
twice in a matter of 3 weeks.
Right. Do they play at all in the regular season?
I don't believe so.
I think we looked this up earlier. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
No. They got a tough one against Auburn next week. We'll see if that's a tough one actually. Then they got 3 ranked teams in a row with Auburn, Kentucky, Florida. So we'll see. I mean, I think they win all those games. I think Georgia's defense is the best in the nation. I think it's top of the line. Offense isn't the best, but it's obviously still good enough to be number 2 in the nation. They beat everybody.
I mean, yeah, when you're running behind Mack trucks, you can do stuff with your offense.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, Georgia was also a contender for me. And then finally, easiest question out of all of them, Alabama is definitely a contender. They had a little slip up against Florida, which isn't looking too good now because Florida just lost to Kentucky. But I don't. It doesn't faze me. I mean, Alabama is always going to be Alabama. They're always going to be favored. They're going to be favored in every single game they play, pretty much. So yeah, Alabama's easy contender for me. And I mean, you had them as a contender, right? Also, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I had 4 contenders. My 4 contenders were Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, and Cincinnati. Do you have anything different?
Yeah. So I had Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Cincinnati, and Oregon.
Oh, you put Oregon in there. Okay. I mean, it's just tough for me to put Oregon in there after you lose to Stanford, but
Yeah.
you could definitely see them bounce back, still win the Pac-12. So I don't think there's too much to worry about there. But just for a brief second, I want to talk about how wild last week in college football was. So many upsets. You can stop sharing the screen now if you want. But let's just talk about all the teams, all the ranked teams that lost last week. Arkansas, number 8, they got beat by Georgia. Notre Dame got beat by Cincinnati. Ole Miss got beat by Alabama. Oregon loses to Stanford. Number 10, Florida loses to Kentucky. Texas A&M loses their second game in a row. I think second game in a row to Mississippi State. Baylor loses to Oklahoma State. Number 20, UCLA loses to Arizona State. And number 18, Fresno State loses to Hawaii. Like, it was crazy. Clemson is also got knocked out of the top 25 after a very, very close win against Boston College, who I think was undefeated at the time.
Because they lost to NC State the week before.
Exactly.
Lost to NC State the week before.
Yeah. So crazy.
When was the last time Clemson was in our top 25?
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Dabo Sweeney before he got there. Like,
yeah,
it's been crazy. But that's all I got. Zach, you got anything else?
Okay, so I don't know if you knew this, but College Game Day got announced.
It did.
And they are going to the Red River rivalry or whatever with a subpar Texas team taking on a pretender Oklahoma team rather than going to watch Big Ten, Iowa, Penn State. I don't know. That just shows that College Game Day is just all for the media, it's all for the fans.
It's right. I mean,
they don't really care about how good the game is.
No, I mean, you're going to bring in the fans with Oklahoma, Texas. Texas is the most valuable football program in the nation. So, I mean, they know what they're doing.
I will be in Iowa City. I will be in Iowa City on Saturday.
You will be in Iowa City on Saturday for the game?
Yes, I will not be at the game, but I will be in Iowa City. I'll be playing rugby as a Nebraska Cornhusker.
Nice.
Against the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Awesome.
And so I will give an inside look to the Iowa Penn State
inside
game.
look. All right. And then we'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's all I got. You got anything?
Nope.
All right. We will see you guys. I don't know if I'm going to do a ride along this week, but we'll see you guys for like a first reactions or something like that in the future.
Pick them.
Pick them.
And a pick
Yeah,
'em.
we'll do it. We'll do a pick 'em episode probably. We can do one. Sounds good. All right.